Hello and welcome to an episode of Star Wars Generations. I'm Erin, one of your hosts here. I'm joined today by Alex. How's it going?
Today? You act like I'm a guest.
No, just like you're the one here, not Matthew. I guess.
I was so confused. Look, I'm joined here today.
No, you've been demoted. Didn't you know that? You're not allowed on the podcast.
God, apparently I've lost the rank of master. Just call me Anakin, I guess.
That's what you've always wanted.
It is what I always wanted and what I do anyway. Hi, everyone. I'm here. Matthew is having some internet issues, so it's just Erin and I today.
Aren't you so glad?
Orange, you so glad? They can't see I'm wearing an orange shirt.
He's wearing orange. It's a half-blood shirt, y'all.
Yeah, it is. I am a huge Percy Jackson fan, and I will discuss that with anyone anytime. But today we are going to do kind of a shortened episode, but we're going to chat about just some of the traffic we've been getting in the Discord. Yes. I want to apologize first.
Yeah.
I had COVID for like the last 2 weeks and was dying. I had the coronavirus, Erin.
No, I know.
And I was on the struggle bus, so I have not been active on like anything really. I usually super active on Instagram. I posted like once, maybe twice. So I'll be back in it soon. But I'm excited to. I went back and read everything. I'm excited to chat about it with Erin.
Yes, I guess I'll take this time to also confess I have not been as active as I've wanted to be. Not in the Discord. I mean, I've hopped in a few times. I've tried to stay active. Definitely more active than Alex.
Okay. The attacks? Why?
I just have not succeeded at being regular on Instagram. I picked up a second job and I had to do like a ton of online training beforehand. So that was my holidays. But now I am ready to talk about what we already talked about in the Discord. So this is like a peek in for people who aren't cool enough to understand Discord. And for Alex. We're just going through it together.
Because I'm not cool enough to understand Discord.
Yeah.
This is just, it's also like, you get access to our Discord if you become a member. So, it's just maybe a little incentive for folks to check it out and consider joining.
Hop on in. We do fun stuff. There was a period of time where everyone was just sending pictures of their, like, Star Wars named animals. We got a C-110 PPER, a chopper. Yeah. Yep.
Why you said C-110 so slowly? Also, we have a Zeb.
Yes, we do. And that's a curly boy.
It is a curly boy. Garrett Zeb Aurelius. We love a good Zeb in the chat.
Yep. Let's see. We got a meme of Mark Hamill at Toshi Station. Toshi Station? Stop!
Erin just likes to hurt me at all possible times.
I have a Midwest accent is my excuse.
I'm sorry. Toshi and Tashi is that a Midwest accent? There's just a right and a wrong way to say it.
No, it's fine. Okay,
let's get back to the
Discord. Let's get back to the Discord.
Okay.
Okay, for a moment when Alex first hopped in, people were talking about Revenge of the Sith, obviously.
I love to spark Revenge of the Sith conversations whenever I can.
He really does. Really does. We got a good Anakin meme. But recently, we were talking about, more specifically, obviously, Return of the Jedi. That's what we just released an episode on. Mm-hmm. And yeah, so it's been fun to see people's takes on it, because obviously when we talked about it, like, I was coming from, specifically about Leia we talked a lot about, and like, I was coming from a female standpoint, and y'all were coming from your other standpoints. So it was just nice to hear from other people of both standpoints again. Let's see.
Of all the standpoints. But, I mean, basically, the crux of the conversation centered on a discussion about, like, how Leia was portrayed in the movie, and what would you say, Aaron, that, if she was portrayed a little watered down, if her portrayal kind of took away from her strength and badassness?
Yeah. Basically, just the conversation around, like, was... George Lucas was trying to make her a little softer in this movie, but was it too far? Did it take away the person she had grown into and has been since the start? And so just kind of discussions of like, well, she doesn't come off as very powerful in this movie, but it's just recognizing she does still have power, You know? Because, like, she literally used the chains of oppression to kill her oppressor. Queen shit.
Yeah. But I know we did talk about it in the episode, though, like, could that have been done without a skimpy bikini?
Oh, for sure.
Like,
for sure.
You know, you could have put her in, you know, ratty clothes. You could have just, you know, you could have like left her in the bounty hunter outfit she was in, maybe tear it up a little bit, to, you know, show there were signs of torture or struggle, and then throw the chains on her, and like you would have gotten the same impact of her taking over the oppressor. But it feels like they just, you know, I mean, it was 1983.
Sure.
And I guess, for lack of better terms, like, you know, sex sells, and so they decided they were going to try and like sexualize Carrie Fisher in an effort to not only get people to the movie and draw people to the movie, but like sell merchandise, sell posters. Like, there was an entire photo session where, you know, they had her at the beach in that outfit. Weren't there like fucking like Jawas or Ewoks in the ocean with her? I don't know. It was weird.
Remember.
I'm gonna go ahead and say something, and I'm looking it up.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so just like where that plot point of her, you know, killing her oppressor is like strong, like Alex is just saying, like, it's taken away, and like people were saying back and forth in the Discord, like it's taken away or cheapened by the way that they chose to put her, like, clothing.
Sorry. They threw her in the ocean. This is for Rolling Stone magazine. And they had waves crashing on her. They did a photo with her sitting on a towel with an Ewok, Darth Vader, and a Gamorrean guard holding a beach ball behind her. And like, I don't know. Like, I get, like, it's a little silly and funny for us now, but like, I just feel like it also just needs to kind of be, you know, talked about more. And, you know, we can read some of the messages, maybe, that was some of the points that were in the Discord.
Yeah.
Hold on. I need to find... Yeah, so the first point was brought up by... Do you want to use real names or...
I think we can just go by the username.
Okay. So, Alduin, Skyrim reference, love that. You know, the first comment that was brought up, you know, he said that... I also want to make a comment about Leia in Return of the Jedi that both my wife and I had. Leia was not a very strong presence. She was in episode 4 and 5. She was quite weak and sort of sappy in a way. Neither of us liked her in Return of the Jedi because she was portrayed that way. She was a badass in the first 2 movies, but watered down and blah in the third. A little disappointed for Lucas to stray from the strong female character that he had built up. And then we had... Visage say...
Guys, if you just saw the hand flick he just did. Visage.
Leia was my hero. She was a strong female leader and knew... she was a strong female leader... Visage said, Leia was my hero. She was a strong female leader and knew it. I know Carrie was not in a good place in the film Return of the Jedi, and that could be why some scenes were painful for me to watch. It didn't stop me from watching it 700 times, though. And there was a winky face emoji.
Relatable.
And then I'm going to get this wrong, and I apologize. Huh?
What?
Say it.
I said Corsicano.
Corsicano. It's like TSB Corsicano.
Slay.
Sorry if I got that wrong.
I definitely did.
You know, they chimed in and said, I personally feel Return of the Jedi does little to diminish Leia's strength or importance in the story. In the beginning, she's literally stripped of any protective gear, chained to a male, and literally as vulnerable as she could possibly be. Yet, as Matthew pointed out, we love Matthew, uses the very chains of her own enslavement to execute her own enslaver and escape. Fast forward to Endor. She's taken captive by a group of natives who are totally unpredictable, yet somehow convinced them to spare her while they plan to barbecue all of the males.
And that's why I love Ewoks. Like, they know what's up.
Fighting the patriarchy since 1983.
Amen.
Follow that up with Luke revealing her family connection, which ends with Luke, basically the only Jedi alive, telling her that she might be more powerful than she realizes. When challenged by Han, she stands her ground, and he relents. During the battle, she takes a round to the shoulder, flips the I love you, I know concept on its ear, and subsequently kickstarts the resurgence of the rebellion on the fourth moon of Endor. she does shoot a stormtrooper and commit murder in that moment. Finally, she tells Han there's nothing romantic between her and Luke because they're actually siblings. Before Han can process that, she takes what she wants by kissing him. She's still figuring out what everything means after the kiss. I'm sorry, he's still figuring out what everything means after the kiss. Like, Han's a little slow on the pickup, which he always is.
Always is.
I understand why some might see as weakening of Leia's presence in the installment, but my interpretation was never anything other than Princess Leia is a freaking boss who knows what she wants and goes about it in a way that makes sense. P.S. I've been loving the reviews of the movies. I honestly can't get enough.
Thank you. We do our best.
Thank you.
Oh my God, you flatter.
But yeah, I mean, and those were like some of the main comments that kind of sparked conversation.
I just really liked hearing your guys' perspectives because, like, we talked it through in the podcast, but like, I didn't think of all these different sides. Like seeing where was it?
Sorry, I'm reading Erin's responses right now on the Discord.
That's meta. Oh yeah, just the whole thing about like being taken by captives and like somehow she's their princess. Like she just get what she wants, and later on, like the Ewoks come before Han, you know?
Sorry, I'm just looking. Oh yeah, I was gonna say that I just want to note that I want to keep talking about Leia, but I just want to make a note that while she was the Ewoks' princess, I will never stop thinking it's hilarious that she might have been the princess, but C-3PO was their god.
Yeah, literally their god.
Like, they would listen to Leia about everything except when it came to releasing all Luke, Han, and Chewie. And then C-3PO was just like, I'm going to float up here, release them. I'm scared out of my fucking mind, but let them go.
Literally. 3PO's like, help me, God, let them out.
It was so good. So good. But yeah, I don't know. So I never actually chimed in the Discord, so I can give my spin on it or my opinion on it. And I would love to hear Erin verbalize a little more. I would say that for me, I see both sides to it. I think that she builds through the movie. I think that it. And I want to note that I'm coming from this from like a cis straight male perspective, so like grain of salt and all that. But
I like
my perspective from the very beginning was that we had been building for 2 movies for her to be such a badass. She is in control of so much. She is such a boss. Mm-hmm. And then in the very beginning, like she strolls into Jabba's palace. Mm-hmm. She like thinks she's gonna get away with it perfectly. Like she thinks she pulled it off. Very, like, sure of herself. And she's caught. And it feels like almost like a reality check for a minute. And, like, she is thrown as low as they can throw her. And I do not like they put her in the bikini. And I disagree with that decision. But I like the role of her becoming a slave for this period. It really, like, it's like a humbling moment. It's like it throws her down to the very bottom. And then throughout the movie, I think that she rebuilds up that badassness in like almost like doubling it down. Like I think that moment might have taken away an ounce of her confidence or courage, but then she turned it back so quickly. I mean, she murders Jabba, like was said. She goes on. Not only does she runs out like Leia hops on the speeder bike first in Endor, and Luke has to jump on behind her. Like Leia's ready to chase these stormtroopers down. And like, I feel like Luke is kind of playing catch up with her. And then like was said before, in the Discord, she is able to convince the Ewoks to like accept her as a princess. She also like kills a bunch of people in this movie. I mean, like she just stands up for herself. And I think she rebuilds up the badassness throughout the film and to the end where she is fully back to that badass self. So it almost feels like just like a momentary dip in her character arc, like a moment of conflict that she then overcomes and comes back from possibly even stronger. And that was always my take in it. I don't think she was watered down as a whole, but I do think that Lucas, definitely like probably went a little too far with how much he chose to like water down Leia's strength in that moment. Erin, what's your take on it all? Did I call on you too early?
No, I just lost my train of thought because I started reading something.
ADHD, folks. ADHD. We all have it.
Yes, I'm following. Okay. It's like a nice little character arc they take her on. I mean, the slave outfit is just a no, always. Very messed up. But yeah, I agree that it's like she was already so strong and so present and badass and on top of it that she kind of had to be knocked down to come back stronger. Which she kind of does all the way to the point where, she catches a bullet or a laser to the shoulder and she's just like, flips the I love you, I know. Like a badass. Like she really, I feel like Han is pretty useless on Endor. Like, he helps out, but he's just kind of there from time to time. And she's really on top of things.
Han
okay.
threw a bag of explosives, the entire bag of explosives, away. He got captured.
Yep.
And then he failed to hotwire open the door.
Yep.
But I love him. But I love that man.
Love him. I mean, I'm glad he was there, don't get me wrong. He's always pretty. But yeah, so she really slayed that. Another thing that Visage said in the Discord was how the line, "but these are my friends," and how she delivered it felt like almost a little too vulnerable for who she was. It's like, because how she's been so far, like, she's gonna... Sorry, this is me now talking. But how she's been so far is very much like to question and like, what's it called? Challenge people. Like, even when things aren't bleak, she like stands up for what she wants. And I agree, like that phrasing, and I do remember the way she delivered it. It's much softer from like everything else she's done. So you could look at it a few ways. It could be like the Ewoks are like, don't really speak the same language, like they're spooked easily. She's just trying to like explain. Maybe they're little. Also, they were very small. A lot of them were children inside, and Carrie would feed them cookies, and it's so cute.
I mean, I think that like, in that moment, but these are my friends. Like, I think she recognized there was some danger, but maybe realized that like, if push came to shove, like she trusted that Luke could get out of it, or like
True.
that like some, like they weren't going to immediately die. I also think that like in that delivery, I don't know. I feel like I think that it's easy to harp on it and nitpick in the Star Wars fans. Mm-hmm. That is our mission, goal, and duty, honestly, in life, is to nitpick. However, I do think, like, it was said that Carrie was really going through a really hard time. I mean, we have to remember, like, between, the substance use, and we can get into, like, Harrison Ford's and hers relationship, which is problematic in its own ways. Like, she had a lot going on for her. And, I think that in that moment, maybe, I don't know, maybe that's just the way she chose to deliver it, and we can look past that one little moment. But if we want to nitpick, I don't know. I never interpreted it in any way as like...
Yeah, like it never caught your attention.
It never caught my attention as like kind of weak-willed. She's just like, but these are my friends. Like, what do you mean? Like, let him go. Like, and I don't think that she felt threatened by the Ewoks because they've been so accepting of her. And she was just pleading with them to, like, let him go. But, like, I don't know.
Yeah. I get that. And, like, that's the thing is, like, neither of us really noticed that line. So it's interesting to hear, like, how it stands out to other people. And then we both get to talk about it because they have to listen to us. No one else is here.
Yeah, I really thought that today was the first prequel, was our first Phantom Menace episode, like our rewatch. I rewatched the movie. I just finished it.
Did you just sentence it all?
Ago. No, I'm going to start that over, actually. Yeah, I really thought today was our review of the Phantom Menace, and so I had just watched the whole movie and was like, fully prepared to talk about it, and then Matthew was like, all right, time to do the, we got to do the original trilogy recap. And I was like, I thought y'all did that while I had COVID. And then Matthew was like, we have internet issues. And I was like, well, you don't want the two people who were prequel apologizers to be on air alone during that. So this is probably for the best. Mm-hmm. And now we're here talking about this instead, which I think is honestly better.
Yeah. I mean, we do still have to wrap up the original trilogy.
Yeah.
At some point, the three of us.
We'll do that with Matthew, though. We need Matthew here for that.
Of course.
I also want to point out that since Matthew's not here, what they had said.
Yeah.
So they said in many ways, they were showing how Leia had a lot of strengths beyond just combat. She had diplomacy in ways the boys didn't. But in a movie that confirmed she was strong in the Force, I wish she'd gotten to show that a little. Helped Luke with their father in some way. But I also agree we can take a lot from how she's able to find and use power in situations set up to make her seem weak. And I mean, I think that like what Matthew's saying is fair. I also think that I agree in that like I don't think you need to give Leia the Force in that moment to convey her strength. I think she, like Luke is whiny and like needs the Force to show his strength. Yep. But like Leia, her just presence, her will, the way she carries herself and talks conveys that power and that strength in a way that I just don't think, like, I think injecting Force powers or like, you know, stuff like that would have felt extra. And also like they build throughout the movies Luke and Vader's connection and not Leia and Vader's connection. So I don't think she would have had felt a connection to Vader if they had included her in some of those scenes. I think she was exactly where she needed to be.
Yeah.
She was doing what she needed to do. She was on Endor. And she was, you know, helping lead the rebellion to victory on the ground. Yeah. Literally boots on the ground. And, correct me if I'm wrong, Erin, do you remember seeing any other women on the ground at Endor?
Nope.
I mean, there might have been a background character from the rebellion who was a woman, but I don't know if they had any extras that were women in that scene. I would have to go back and watch it more carefully.
Yeah.
But I think that she really went down there and just said, I cannot leave the fate of our galaxy in all of these men's hands. I will take charge. And she simply did.
She said, oh, I simply cannot let this stand. I must do something.
I mean, like, Han's great contribution and great plan was to basically try and to fake, like, to lie to the people inside. He just played his stupidity, just played on the stupidity of the Imperial men to succeed in getting the door opened. But every other moment, it did not feel like he had any control.
Yeah. Leia really slayed on Endor. What can I say? She's a baddie. That's why Endor Leia is now on the Star Wars game that I play. Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes.
I want to note that I think that game needs to sponsor this podcast because Erin mentions it every single
damn episode.
And I think that we need to get a sponsorship.
Some people in the Discord are on that game, and we chat about the game.
Oh, I noticed. Oh, okay. You have your own little clan forming.
Yes. I'm trying to recruit Matthew. Do you want to talk about some of the Keller and Beck stuff?
Which ones? I can scroll up.
No, it's after, actually, I think. Or maybe, I don't know. But Corsicano, TSB Corsicano.
Oh, Keller and Beck. I thought you said it. Never mind. I thought you said Killer and Beck, like three words.
Nope.
I was confused. I'm sorry. Yeah, I was very excited when because, you know, as a person of color, I have 100% was very upset the more I learned about Ahmad Best's treatment during Phantom Menace, and it actually made it hard, and I'll talk about it when we talk about the episode. It made it harder to watch the episode this time, knowing how he was treated. But I remember when that you know, we've been wondering who saved Grogu from the temple for so long, and that episode got released this year. Yes. I should probably step back and explain what we're talking about.
No, you go from here, and I'll go back with the quotes.
Okay, cool. And I love that we can just edit this around. But
no, we're not going to edit it.
Oh, you're just going to make me seem stupid. Cool.
We're just.
I'm kidding, Erin. I'm kidding. Matthew hates listening to episodes we record by ourselves. So Keller and Beck, for those who don't know, is the Jedi played by Ahmad Best, who rescues Grogu from the Jedi Temple in the Mandalorian flashback. And when I have been waiting to find out who saved Grogu, I was a big proponent of the R2-D2 save Grogu theory for a long time.
Yeah, I liked that.
But when that elevator opened and I saw Ahmad Best, when I tell you I gasped.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my God, they did my man right. They brought him back. Yeah. And then I started reading all these articles that were out about like all the efforts that had been made to apologize, make amends, try and make up for the way he was treated and what had gone on. And the fan base has welcomed him back with such open arms.
Yes.
He also like, I don't know if it's still ongoing, but there's like a game show on Disney Plus where like it's called like Young Jedi or something.
I don't think it's
Jedi
ongoing,
Master.
but yeah.
Yeah, okay, well, it was something, but he's like a Jedi Master and like kids competing in this little game show. It's reminiscent of oh God, hold on. Don't go anywhere, folks. Legends of the Hidden Temple. I couldn't remember the first few words of that. That is before even Erin's time.
Oh.
It aired before my time too, but it was on replay a lot. 1993 to 1995, it was an incredible little game show on Nickelodeon, like with kids, for kids. It has a very like cult following. But it reminds me of that, but it's Star Wars themed. And Ahmad Best hosts that. He's now in The Mandalorian. You know, he has this whole new character after him, and it's amazing. It is just beautiful.
It's so awesome.
Now, Erin, can you go back and explain why I'm rambling about this?
Yeah, so it kind of came up in the Discord. As I was saying, TSB Corsicano brought it up and just said, there's a podcast called The Redemption of Jar Jar Binks in which Ahmad Best talks about the whole experience he had becoming Jar Jar and the aftermath and reception of how it was received. One thing I found especially interesting is he talks about how Jar Jar was labeled as a horribly racist stereotype with all the mannerisms, movements, inflections, and accent being targeted as evidence of said racism. This was a huge factor in his depression and suicidal ideation because these things he did as Jar Jar actually date back to when he was a younger man and would do silly movements and voices to entertain his cousins and younger family members. He personally brought those aspects of his life to performing. So when people were ripping on Jar Jar for being so disrespectful, it had a profound impact because everyone was basically telling him they hated him. Or no, telling him he hated himself and his own family and ethnic background. He had all these high hopes for the future, and those hopes were completely dashed. I just think it's important, the distinction to make, because while there are other examples of problematic racial portrayals, I can't reconcile someone being accused of racism against himself just because he was being himself. So if you guys want to go listen to that, again, that's The Redemption of Jar Jar Binks. I have not hit it up yet, but it is on the list when I have time. Like I said, I'm studying. But I think that's something that would be good for all of us, just to go and listen to Ahmed Best talk about it and like his experience. Because I never would have known. Like, we all assumed that all of that was racist, like, directing. Yeah, it was racist directing by George Lucas.
Racist. No, I'm kidding.
Whoa. And I think some of that is still true, especially throughout The Phantom Menace and Attack of the Clones and all of the prequels. Like, that is very true. But it's interesting to hear that it's like not all of it was directed. Like, this was just an actor bringing himself into a role, and people having such a critical lens on that and who he is as a person was just so harmful. So I think it's important as fans to be aware of these things.
And we're going to talk, I mean, I have a whole note for The Phantom Menace. We're going to discuss in length the racist undertones that exist in that movie and in the prequels as a whole, but it was really interesting for me to see that as well, and I do want to take a listen to that, because I think that, it was the fact that it existed in that movie with all the other racial stereotypes that exist. I think just, if he was just being himself and being silly, it was just lost in all the other stuff around it. But it was a really good point to bring up. Yeah, not everything you see on the screens is exactly what you think it is. Shocking. I know. It never is. It never ever is. Was there anything else that we wanted to point out in...
Oh, yeah, right here. Just how cool we are. You guys should join the Discord. How you do that, you can join our little members. Woo! So it's $5 a month, yeah. And you get ad-free episodes. You get little after conversations. We're going through the book from a certain point of view, which is just retellings of A New Hope from side characters' perspective, or characters you didn't even know were there. So, yeah, we have a fun one to talk about today. Yeah, that was kind of our little Discord preview. What you got to say, Alex?
Just today was just kind of just a little short episode because we lost Matthew last minute. But we wanted to kind of just take the time and the space to show extra appreciation to the folks that listen to the podcast and actually seem to give a crap about what we say.
I appreciate it.
And listen to our ramblings. And I will apologize in advance for what you're going to witness when we get to the prequels.
Oh my god. I need to get the cameras up and running.
Yeah, there's been talk. There's no final plan. There's talk of us all watching Revenge of the Sith together and a camera being set up so y'all can see me watch that movie.
I forgot about that.
It is a spectacle in itself.
That should
to just
be
watch
members
my
content.
facial reactions. That should be member only. That should be like a special level of
you gotta pay the
only
big
content.
bucks.
That should be pay-per-view is what that should be. Well, that's gonna be ridiculous. I mean, y'all gotta see me. I didn't send this to you yet, Erin.
Oh.
Matthew, you can cut this if it's irrelevant, but Erin, someone spent 3 years remaking the battle on Mustafar in perfect Clone Wars animation.
What?
I cried when I watched it.
Oh my god, send it to me. Oh my god.
I will. It's perfect. The battle is perfect. It's a little clunky, a little bit. They go through like Padme dying, obviously. So for some it's a little clunky, but holy cow.
Tears to your eyes.
Was perfection. I will cry at any level or sight of that scene. So, but yeah, members, if you want to stick around, we are going to discuss I believe it's called Rites, which is the next story in the book. And yeah,
what are your tags? Where are you at?
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. I'm on Instagram at AlexKorman12 with a K. I'm a photographer. I take lots of fun pictures. So, I'm going to pub this for the first time.
Do it.
I have a Substack. If y'all are interested in film photography, that I just kind of do little experiments, write about film photography.
What's a Substack?
It's called The Twin Lens Gazette. If you just look that up on Substack, you'll find it. I post once every 2 weeks. A little email gets sent to you. They're usually like less than 5-minute reads. They're very fun and quirky. They're just a passion project. But check it out.
So cute.
And then Erin?
Yeah, I'm at Lady Tano Creates on Instagram and TikTok. Like I said, with the other stuff, I just have not been as active as I wanted to be with the holidays, and I had an injury, and then I had family stuff going on. So you know what? I'm getting back to it. If you've been around, sorry for the hiatus. If you want to join, I will still keep posting things. TikTok is a lot of like progression of what I'm doing, and Instagram is more like finished photos for the most part. Some of which I will be getting from Alex sooner than later, right?
Ba-da-dun-da-da-da. Yes, you will. Yeah. Erin is a superstar cosplayer.
Thank you.
And as soon as that Shin cosplay is done, perhaps we could have a conversation.
I'm working on it.
About Mystique and Poison Ivy and all your other 8 million characters.
So exciting, so fun. I'm so excited to get into like heroes and villains. Anyways, so yeah, that's me. Matthew is at the Ethical Panda Podcasts. I believe that is on Instagram. Let's see. Our Twitter is SW G Generations. So stop by, tweet us.
We tweet.
I don't tweet.
I don't tweet at all.
Yeah. You're gonna have better luck Instagram for me. That's Lady Tano Creates, as I said before. But we also do have an Instagram for the podcast. It's
the same handle, I'm pretty sure, right?
Yeah, it's at SW Generations Pod.
Mm-hmm.
Swag. So send your thoughts to that podcast, or, oh my God, to that Instagram, please. I will be posting little headliner clips of the funniest things that we say on there.
Erin hates posting headliner clips of my voice in them, though, in case no one noticed.
You say you hate listening to your own voice, so I just assumed you'd look at our posts, so I didn't want to, grind your ears.
It's so true.
Yeah. Thanks so much for joining us. Sorry it was kind of long-winded, but that's what you get when you get us, so if you don't like it, you can just come back when Matthew's back. Thanks so much for joining. We'll see the members later.
Stay classy, Naboo.
It's gonna be all right, kid.
I guess we need to do one for Matthew, too. We have spoken.
We have spoken.